Well, if you do cross this for yourself, watch your footing. Easily fall right through there. That's at least a 20-foot drop. Something in the woods over there. It might be I don't know if it's a trailer or a building. It might be abandoned. But this has sketchiness written all over it. Yeah, I could see flames from here. That's a pretty bad fire. At one time, this area was a centralized hub for multiple railroad companies, and back in the day, there were tracks covering this entire area. Here in modern day, most of it's been removed, but not everything is gone. There's still some things like that left behind. If you'd like to learn more and to see what else I do find today, all you need to do is come along with me. Our journey is officially beginning right here at what is known as the Canal Park here in Nanticoke, Pennsylvania. And where I'm standing, believe it or not, is a section of old rail line. Doesn't look like it today, but as we proceed in this direction, we're going to have some clear evidence that at one time trains did run through here. One of our first items is an old train bridge. It's a girder bridge, which now has a pipe running over it, but at one time did have rails running across it. And it's put in place here because there is a creek running underneath it, flowing down into the Susquehanna River. So here is our first piece of evidence. This is actually seen from the roadway. There's the former Banco's restaurant, Horror Hall Haunted Attractions back there. So this is right along, I believe it's Route 11. I think it was only wide enough for one train to come through. Actually someone fishing down there. This is the creek flowing right into the Susquehanna. You can also see a stone abutment right there, which may or may not have been another line. We'll confirm that. But definitely an abutment wall right there. And as we come over the pipe here, look in the other direction. That is, I believe, Route 11, if I'm not mistaken. And right there, that building is Horror Hall Haunted Attraction, the place that I have been volunteering at as a scare actor for the last few seasons. It's a former high school, reportedly haunted as well. So we're going to keep tracing this in this direction. Now, one of the main focal points and highlights for me is going to be another abandoned train bridge. Yes, we're standing on one right now. This is a girder bridge. That one, though, is a much larger truss bridge. It goes directly across the Susquehanna River, and I don't know if we could get onto it or even cross it. We'll find that out once we do arrive there. But once we do arrive, I'm also going to share details with you about the different rail lines that ran in this area, specifically across that bridge, because multiple different railroad companies did operate here, and when they crossed the bridge, they went in different directions. So we're going to head down there, check it out, and learn more about it. It's all right, no problem. Catch anything?
Nothing.
Nah?
Not even on the main part.
Nah? Tell you,
Ready yet.
not warm enough yet.
Yeah, hopefully soon.
Yeah. You too, man. Well, if you do cross this for yourself, watch your footing, or even watch your tires, because easily fall right through there. That's at least a 20-foot drop. So although most of this bridge is intact, there definitely is a couple sections that are questionable. That looks to be the worst of it. So now that we're across, I don't know if we're going to see any remnants of ties, spikes, rails, anything related to that. But I can confirm, though, with my Rail Guide app, that we are 100% walking on one of the rail lines here. So I will show evidence of that in just a moment, but I'm going to bypass this area, which looks pretty featureless, and we'll get to another opening and check for more details. Just came through that area, and according to my position on the Rail Guide app, It appears there would have been a switch somewhere nearby here, which would have connected the line to the one that we just were walking on across that bridge. So somewhere around here was a switch area, and then it appears there was another switch area further up here connecting even more lines. So it kind of went from one line to multiple lines heading in this direction, and then heading towards us, it went from multiple lines down to one line, at least according to the Railguide app. Widens out up here, so I believe this is an area where the switch would have been, the secondary switch. And I did find another piece of evidence. Looks like some discarded railroad ties right there. I'll take another screenshot for you. So the first switch was back there when I mentioned it. The secondary switch was somewhere behind me here. Let me see. Let me take that screenshot, and I'm gonna walk to show my position on the actual switch. And I noticed that walking, I didn't show it. There's a chunk of concrete here, which I didn't think anything of it, but that is pretty much in line with the switch here. So I'm gonna do another screenshot, and my dot is basically showing where the two rails do meet. So we have two switches in a rather short amount of space, and according to the app, it's for different rail lines. So more distance to cover, but we're making progress. And when you're doing these adventures, you gotta watch out because there's always someone or something watching. In this case, it's an artificial vulture. Now it appears that some people's properties are on both sides of the old rail line, which is more or less a trail right now. Now on some maps, it actually does show up as an extension of the Susquehanna Warrior Rail Trail. That's a trail I have documented in the past. I started by the canal park there and went all the way down to Shikshini area. And I think they're gonna make this another extension of that, although it's not formally done yet. Some maps do show it currently as that trail system. So walking through here, as far as I know, is legal because it is going to be technically part of the rail trail. Tell you what, I'm kind of wishing it was colder out because this trail is a muddy mess, but I'm actually thankful for comfortable temperatures. It's in the 40s, slight breeze, partly cloudy skies. And what is this? There's something off to the right here. Looks like framing. A little trench system right here. Let me see if I can find an easy way up there. Don't know what this is. It's up here on this little embankment near the old rail line. Some kind of metal framing. It's been here a while, as you can tell with the tree. Which is, yeah, it's dead. There's an old sign here in the tree too. I can't make out anything on it. It's too far gone. Finally making some good progress. I think those racks that we saw are part of that property over there. I think it's a paving company, and those racks are just placed there along the edge of the property. As you come up here, there's going to be a clearing and a road crossing, and I need to check the map to see which direction I need to go. I think I need to go straight, and if I'm not mistaken, the abandoned train bridge should be directly across the road. There's a semi-trailer up there, and I think it's going to be somewhere either past there or near there going to the right. So it shouldn't be much further, and we'll get our eyes set on that old abandoned through truss bridge. At the road crossing now, and we do have yet more evidence. What does that look like to you? That looks like an old station. Not sure if it would be passenger or freight. Probably safe to assume freight. Although it's the original shape of the building, it may have been reconfigured a little bit. It could have been a loading dock or something. And even on the outside of the barred up windows, there's some train cutouts there. And it is now Iron Cowboy, Guns and Ammo. But unmistakable, that's an old train station. And there is a post here. I thought maybe it was a mile post. I think it maybe would have had a signal on it. I'm not sorry, a signal, like a crossbuck or a sign for a crossing. I think that's what that was. Now it's a good thing I checked the app, because although we're still walking on a section of the rail line, it's not the one we want to be on. Where those forks were, or those splits were, the tracks continue to the right. So we need to go right now. And yeah, I see it through the trees. The abandoned train bridge is directly ahead of us. Just to put things into context too, Route 11 is behind us. That's where those cars are traveling. And there's a vehicle bridge over there through the trees. That's Broadway. I don't know if it's a Broadway bridge or Broadway street, but that is a road bridge that goes over the Susquehanna River. And when you're crossing that bridge, you could see this bridge. So from what we could tell, okay, so the line came from the right. There's a vehicle coming. So it looks like that would have been the old line right there. And I'm going to confirm that once again. I'll take another screenshot. And when they crossed over the bridge, it could have went either left or right, which are now more or less just roads back here. Excuse you. I do retract that last statement. When the trains came over the bridge, they didn't turn right. They went left. If they wanted to go right, they had to go down to those switches that we mentioned earlier. So I did mistakenly say that. The app did correct me. Now there is a private property sign here, but it's really old and dirty. It's not a fresh new one. There's a walking trail coming through here too. So I don't have any concern that I'm doing anything or going anywhere I shouldn't be going. I know this bridge has been documented before, and I actually did see the other side of it a few years ago from downtown Anaco. Can I smell fire? Somebody's burning something around here, but I did see the other side of it, which after it crossed the river, it's more or less like a wooden trestle through the woods until it kind of just meets up with the earth level again. And something in the woods over there. It might be I don't know if it's a trailer or a building. It might be abandoned. This is pretty thick here though, to say the least, but we are clearly walking on a rail bed right now. Imagine coming through here in the summer. It would be nearly impossible. Oh, I got a mess to crawl through, so let me get through there, then I'll bring you back right at the foot of the bridge. Boy, was that fun. Not. Made it through it though. We're standing on basically the abutment wall, pretty high up. It's about a 40-foot drop at least. And I may want to get down there. There's some neat findings. There's a old rowboat wedged up against the tree. And we'll be able to get a profile of the bridge from down there as well. But here is the bridge. I'm gonna get right in front of it. Now there is a fence, actually a few different types of fences, and there's holes going through it. So I think we could at least get a shot through it, maybe even try to go through it. But I don't know how far I wanna go out, because bridges that don't have a solid floor where I could see through the floor definitely sketches me out. And this is a lengthy one. I don't know the length yet. I'll try to use Google Earth to get the length of it crossing the river. But it's a good size one. Definitely a through truss bridge. Had, I think, just one line going across it, but as we learned, it does branch off. Well, there is access, kinda. Move this out of the way, you can see there is an opening there. But this has sketchiness written all over it. Now, I know if you walk on the steel beams where the beams are, it's 100% safe. It's just my mind plays tricks with me when I'm on these places or these locations where I know that I could possibly fall through or drop something. So as much as I would love to go out there, being by myself, I'm not going to risk it. I've been on similar locations like with RJ where he came to an abandoned bridge and he was able to walk all the way out, and there was a big gap for me and I had to just stop. I froze in my tracks, no pun intended. So I'm going to use my extendable pole that you guys are mounted on, get you guys a decent view out there, and then we'll go down along the river and check it out. But rails are gone. The walking manway area is on the left with missing planks. There's more of them further out. There's probably some spikes still intact, maybe some plates, but everything has been ripped up. That's looking where we just came from. We're standing up there at the foot of the bridge. Good sized stone abutment wall here. And we just had to navigate down that, which was slippery, but we're here. And we're also here at a spot where floodwaters do reach. There's a lot of washed down areas, and people sometimes ask, what kind of things do you find? Well, there's a heck of a lot of tires, I'll tell you that. Sometimes discarded furniture, plastic materials, garbage cans. But here, there's a boatload of tires and even a toilet. Porcelain throne has made its way down here. I don't believe that got washed down here. Based on the weight of it, probably got tossed down here. But there is an old rowboat down there. But let's get down there, get some good views of it, and then I'm going to share with you the details of the rail line that operated here. And we're now down here at the edge of the mighty Susquehanna River. Oh, there's a big fire. Holy crap. I knew I smelled smoke. That is a huge fire. Wow, that's like a tire fire or something. That's black smoke. If we hear sirens, then we know that's something that's out of control over there. Wow, that's the other side of the river. Hopefully it's no one's residence and it's just something accidental with garbage or debris. As I was explaining, there is a wedged in rowboat here. It's been here for a long time. It is fiberglass, and that individual I know has been here. It's got the drain plug in the bottom there. It's like it got washed down and just wedged here in place. It's been beat up. You never know what you'll find along the river's edge. Now that is a huge amount of smoke. It's a bit concerning with how much smoke is coming out. It's thick black smoke, almost like they're burning tires or rubber or something, but that's not your traditional wood burning smoke. Oh, this isn't good. I hear sirens. I did hear individuals over there trying to put it out, but I think they lost control of it. Yeah, I could see flames from here. That's a pretty bad fire. Hopefully it's no one's home, but it's a big fire. And there's a gunshot. Okay, there's fire police arriving. Smoke is blowing this way over the river. That's fully engulfed. Probably not coming through on camera, but huge flames. You can actually hear it from here. Hopefully there's nothing explosive either. I'm going to keep recording just for a minute. Fire truck should be arriving any moment now. And that went up quick. Whatever it is probably going to be completely obliterated by the flames. It's a big fire. There's one fire truck. I think it's a ladder truck. I'd assume there's going to be multiple fire trucks, maybe multiple companies. It's a good sized fire. Right on the bank of the Susquehanna River, there's another gunshot. If I do find out details on the news about what this was, I'll share some subtitles or some screenshots in the video. I'm going to zoom in one more time. Not sure if you'll be able to see the flame. Jesus. What the hell is that? There's another fire truck. I don't know if those are gunshots or like something exploding from the fire. That was loud. Louder than the first one. Kind of glad I'm over here to observe it safely, but man, didn't expect to come across that. Yeah, the whole entire structure, whatever it is fully engulfed. Probably 20-foot flames I could see from here, maybe even larger up close. Oh, that's kind of nuts. Hopefully everybody's okay. There's more sirens. They're calling additional companies, I think. Smoke is just billowing over here. It's really filling up the whole riverbed here. I can hear them yelling over there. I hear more sirens. I'm going to come a little ways away, not to get away from the smoke, but to try to give you some views of the bridge, standpoint of the whole reason that we're here. But this is real life, just filming it as it happens. Well, here's about the best view I could give you, unobstructed. As I mentioned, after it leaves the truss part, it does go to a type of girder bridge, more like a trestle. I don't think there's any sides on it. So it's like a steel wood trestle going through the woods, and then eventually just evens out with the roadway or the land. It's a nice looking bridge. Lengthy. It's all held up by stone columns. They're all wedge shaped to deflect material. I don't see any old abutments or additional abutments or piers to signify a older or secondary bridge. This appears to be the only one here. Smoke is changing color over there, so they're starting to get some water on the flames. Still hear more sirens too. I'm gonna leave you guys right here to enjoy the view. Also hear the sirens, but right now I want to share with you some information about the lines that came through here, specifically over this bridge. I'm going to also at the same time put some screenshots of Google Earth and rail guide images to match up the things I'm explaining to you. So one of the lines that came across here was the Schuylkill and Juniata Railroad. It was formed on June 1st, 1900 from the consolidation of 5 subsidiaries of the Pennsylvania Railroad, and those lines served the coal region of northeastern Pennsylvania. The company was eventually absorbed into the PRR, Pennsylvania Railroad, in 1902. The next line that operated here was the DL&W, Delaware, Lackawanna, and Western Railroad, which was incorporated in 1853 and is created primarily to transport anthracite coal to markets in New York City and eventually link Buffalo to New York City. Competition from trucks and mines shutting down reduced traffic, and in 1960 the DL&W merged with the rival Erie Railroad to form the Erie-Lackawanna, and in 1976 Conrail took over. Next is the PRR, Pennsylvania Railroad, which was established in 1846 with headquarters in Philadelphia. At its peak in 1882, it was the largest railroad and corporation in the world in regards to revenue and traffic. In 1968, PRR merged with New York Central to form Penn Central. In 1976, assets were given over to Conrail. Now, as far as direction for the lines, when they crossed the north side of the bridge, which is the side that we're on, the tracks did curve left, and then they met up with the switches. So just keep that in mind as I do explain the following information. The PRR crossed north over the bridge and turned west, which is left, by Route 11 to merge with the DL&W track. Crossing the south end of the bridge, the opposite end, it went both east and west. The DL&W crossed the north side of the bridge by Route 11 and went both east and west. And crossing the south end of the bridge, the line went west and terminated by downtown Nanticoke as a branch or spur line. And finally, the Schuylkill and Juniata crossed the north side of the bridge, went west to merge with the DL&W line, and on the south side it traveled east and west and operated mostly as a branch line. Well, with that being said, hopefully the details and information I shared with you helped you better understand what took place here. That's why I call it a centralized hub, because this bridge played a vital role in train traffic going both north and south. And now knowing that when it crossed over the north side, it went west and then had the possibility or opportunity to go both east and west, where on the south end it could have again went east and west. So this bridge here was just a major factor in the railroad days for all those different railroad companies, and we now know that more than one line operated on this bridge. So as time progressed and companies merged or dissolved, different lines took over different companies, and today it's just remnants from the past. Don't know what the future of this bridge is going to be. I know it's been here for a while. I think I have seen footage of people walking over it. Again, just not in my comfort zone. I'm happy with what I was able to share with you. I'm going to head back up to the top there, see if I missed anything. I want to double check to see if there's a date on the bridge. I didn't see it. So I'll have to give you this view underneath the bridge. You can see where it comes out from the abutment. There's the first pier. And also on these blocks, you could see some markings where they would have drilled. I think I did learn, or not that I think I did learn, not sure if it applies to this though, is that I thought these were drill markings for drilling and blasting. I think they were drilled and then there was like wedges put in place where they hammered it to separate the rock. Someone did explain that on a different abandoned rail line video, and there was a stone culvert that had notches like this in the stone, and I thought it was drilled and blasted, and they corrected me saying that it was drilled but not blasted. I think it was maybe wedges or something inserted where they hammered it to fracture the rock. That could be what we're looking at here. You know, I almost forgot. I remember when I was up there, I spotted something down here that looks like an abandoned structure. I think it's right over here. And based on how it's laying, it may have even gotten washed down here. And it's actually right through the brush here. Looks like maybe a camper trailer or a mobile home. Yeah, it's right through there. Some type of structure. I don't think a camper trailer, either an office trailer or a mobile home or a shed. Actually, maybe I could get back there. There is a pathway. Okay, so yeah, that's a shed. I could see it now. I thought it was bigger from far away. There's a good chance I could have got washed here though during a flood. I checked one more time. I couldn't see any date markings. So as of right now, don't know when that was built or constructed, but at least we have an approximate time frame when it was last used. Coming off the bridge, looking down the street here, well, we're looking at where the trains would have passed through. So that we know there was a line around here, another one somewhere up there, and then the one that goes east and west, the main one we were following right along Route 11, they would switch up to that to go east. Well, welcome back to the girder bridge. On the way back, I combed the area best I could, and I found little to nothing, which is surprising because of how much train activity was here back in the day. They did a heck of a job of removing nearly everything. I found like one or two lone ties. I didn't find any spikes, plates, J-hooks, or rails, which is unfortunate because I love being able to show you what still is left behind, especially with rails when we could date them, get the manufacturing location. But it's definitely out of my control when everything is gone and is being actively reclaimed by nature. The only thing that's great is that it's still a clear defining rail line here, which is now going to be most likely a rail trail, so it's going to be preserved. It won't be developed over, which is good. And the truss bridge going across the river, definitely the highlight for me. It's a good lengthy bridge. Nowhere close to me being able to walk across it. And it sounds foolish, but it's just the way it is with me. Even if there was rails, if the ties were rotted severely in between them, that would still mess with me. Or if there was a graded platform going across it where I could see through it, that would mess with me. Even though knowing I can't fall through, but that wasn't even close to that. It was far and few between what was intact to walk on. The only sure thing was the beams. And honestly, if you lose your footing or you just freeze out there, you're gonna have a heck of a time getting back safely. So I know my limits. I was perfectly comfortable showing it to you from these sidelines. Regarding that fire, that honestly was completely unexpected. Getting up to the bridge face of it there, I smelled smoke. I thought someone was just burning in the area. And then a matter of minutes later, it was just engulfed in thick black smoke, then flames, then the sirens. Hopefully, whoever is involved with that got out safely. Things can be replaced. Obviously, people can't. So, gorgeous day out. Had a good time trekking and sharing this with you. And although the map images and rail guide images don't do it justice, it's better than nothing. At least it kind of puts things into perspective as to what we're looking at walking on a modern day and what used to exist, and knowing that both sides of that bridge was a heavily used rail area, mostly for coal, and even that old station was a nice little find too, which is repurposed as an ammunition shop. And I did look up too briefly on the rail guide app, that stone abutment I showed earlier, that was not a rail line. At least nothing that shows up on the rail guide app. I think that was maybe part of the canal system for the canal park, because in the canal park there are old canal locks there. I haven't done a video on it, not sure if I will, but that's in proximity of that, and there's nothing showing a rail line went there. If it was, it may have been just a dead-end spur. And lastly, I know I've mentioned it before, several people have asked and shown interest in the Railguide app. It's one of my favorite tools to use, my favorite apps. As I've explained, as far as I know, it's only available on the Android devices, Google Play. If you're an iOS device user or you don't have a mobile device, I did learn that this Railguide app is also on browser. So if you open up your web browser and search in Railguide, you should be able to get the same map images that I use just on your computer screen. And all you do is just search in your location, and then there's different options for current, classic, abandoned, early, and depending on how close you zoom in, it'll show you either like a hybrid image or just a geographical image of the location. And that's what I've been using and love to use, and it made my videos that much more engaging for you guys because you actually are able to see where I'm standing, where the lines went, more than just speculation. So it's been a huge addition to my channel, and whoever did recommend it to me a couple of years ago, all I can say is thank you once again. I love using it and will continue to use it. But as you can probably hear, I'm losing my voice a little bit. This is my second video of the day, and a lengthy day at that. I've been out since 11 a.m. and it is now approaching 4 p.m. So with that being said, I want to thank you once again for coming along for this adventure as we documented more abandoned rail history here in Northeast Pennsylvania. It seems no matter where you go, not far away from where you are, there's either rail history or mining history. So I feel really fortunate to be in this area and to be able to document it one piece, one section at a time. I have more to come, so if you want to see more videos like this, not only check the playlist down below, but make sure you do check back to the channel to see where I'm headed next. Otherwise, thanks again for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.